Hello again, Mr. Weir. We're going to take a deeper look, aren't we, into England's defeat, surprise, shock, whatever you want to call it, against Greece at Wembley. Speaking to ITV at full-time, Lee Carsley revealed that they'd only spent 20 minutes in training on the plan last night. I mean, is that a concern? Is he being too honest? What's the reaction been?
We've just come off the end of the cricket, so we're going from the sublime to the ridiculous. As you said, 20 minutes spent on this, and you know, there'd been clamour for this. Let's get all the best players, all the best attacking talent on the pitch at one time. How do you get Bellingham, Foden, Palmer, Saka all in the same team? And you know, there was the same criticism that Gareth Southgate had all summer as well. How you get them all on the same side? And Gareth Southgate said, look, you can't, and you have to sort of make compromises and have a balanced side. And he got pelters for that. Well, I wonder whether he's thinking this morning, that's exactly why I didn't do it. Because the fact that all these players were on the same pitch at the same time meant that these were the average field positions, Will. So you had Anthony Gordon hugging the left touchline, great. Bukayo Saka holding his weight on the right, which is fantastic as well. Because you had the two false nines in Foden and Bellingham, they were kind of occupying the same space. And this is their average position, so they may have well been sort of interchanging, but neither of them are providing a focal point further up the pitch. And I remember watching, in the first half in particular, the amount of times that Bellingham was dropping back and picking the ball up here, which is his natural instinct to do, because it's not his natural instinct to play that sort of false nine role. The other thing this graphic shows as well is that Cole Palmer, who was kind of shoehorned into the team, playing out of position, not the position that he's been playing so successfully for Chelsea for a season and a half now, because he was sort of shoehorned in to sort of play between the forward four and in front of Declan Rice. He was drifting out to the right, but occupying a very similar position to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So you've arguably got England's two most creative players there, kind of stepping on each other's toes, both trying to do the same job. And that's why it didn't work. They looked so toothless going forward, but they left themselves so exposed at the back as well. And I think we can also look at the amount of touches in the opposition box, and that kind of tells its own story as well, because Anthony Gordon had the most touches, only 5 for the hour that he was on the field. Bellingham, who was sort of, in theory, playing that false nine role, just the 4 touches, and he played all 90 minutes. And you can see down here, Ollie Watkins, he only came on for half an hour.
Well, that's the thing, Jimmy. You know, they did have Watkins and they did have Solanke.
Exactly, and when you bring an actual recognised centre-forward on, they're obviously going to get more touches in the opposition box. So I think the fact that he sort of reverted to plan B and brought Watkins on, and then eventually Solanke on as well, ended up playing a 4-4-2 towards the end, kind of shows that this experiment didn't really work.
It's a tricky one for Carsley, isn't it, now? Because Finland on Sunday, also in the Nations League, and England played them a few weeks ago, didn't they? He's saying he's not going to go with the same approach. No. So does he just have to forget what happens against Greece if he's going to have any chance of getting the job, if he still has a chance now? And go back to what was plan A against the Republic of Ireland and Finland?
Well, I think he definitely still has a chance of getting the job. And as we were saying earlier, I think the FA, in an ideal world, would like to promote from within. He's done a great job with the under-21s. They're not going to just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater just because it wasn't a great performance last night. Roy Keane, after the game, was saying, you have to do the basics. You have to have urgency. The basics were so poor. Have some pride. It wasn't there. And I think that was the problem, that this experiment just didn't work. He knows that now. You can question why he was even going for the experiment in the first place, because Harry Kane hopefully will be fit for that game against Finland. And when you got Harry Kane in the field, obviously one of Foden or Bellingham or Palmer needs to make way. But if we look at the average of the 2 games that England have already played against Finland and the Republic of Ireland, this is the average of those 2 games and their stats compared to that game against Greece last night. So 19 shots they averaged in those games as opposed to 12 last night. 8.5 shots on target, just the 2 shots on target last night. One came in the 3rd minute, one was Bellingham's equaliser in the 87th minute. Final third passes, way down from 277 to 195. Passing actually isn't too dissimilar, but the shots faced, they've only faced 4 shots on average against Finland and the Republic of Ireland, i.e. 8 in total across the 2 games. They faced 12 shots against Greece last night. So it shows that having all that attacking talent on the field, well, it didn't really work going forward because they didn't look any more dangerous going forward, but also they left themselves so open at the back, and that is probably the big concern.
It's a night to just write off for any
Let's
England
just forget
fan.
about it.